The carnage wrought on the mid-Atlantic coast is little more than another day at the office for the madmen at the wheel of the monster machines. With 3 down and 1 competition to go, the road to the George Carpenter Cup has come down to a 2-truck coin toss in the sand. The ocean waters appear calm today, but just a few hundred feet from these marine machines is a chaotic battleground as the road to the George Carpenter Cup winds down. Here was show number 4 in Virginia Beach, and it's been an all-out assault on the senses as the aquabound audience has dropped anchor to watch the madness from just offshore. And this may be the most trucks in a while that have made it into this final show of the weekend. 7 of 8 trucks in one form or another are still around, but how competitive they'll be remains to be seen. Right now, Zach Garner in hole shot is sidelined with a broken rear end, but we may still see him out here yet before the end of the day as we take a look at the points coming into today's action. And there really are only 2 trucks that mathematically have a shot to walk out of here with the championship, and it's the 2 guys at the top, only 3 points separating them coming into this final day of action, ending up just like they started, that being Jerry Beck and Dirt Crew at the top, and then 3 points down in second place, Steven Sims Jr. in his father's truck Stone Crusher. His teammate Hook, Chad Tingler, the legendary driver out of Virginia, coming out to play. He's done well as well. He is a long shot for this championship, but mathematically speaking, it would have to be an absolute disaster of a show for the other 2 guys. Right now, though, we're going to start off with the wheelie competition with none other than Chad Tingler in Hooked. And immediately over on his top, you can see he broke the right rear axle either before this event, didn't realize it, or broke it when he nailed the hammer, but problems immediately as he rolls it over early, getting a little lightweight carnage out of the way, turning the crowd on. Not what he wanted, though. You can see the right rear tire not moving at all. That's an indication that he has a broken axle. Hopefully nothing serious, but Tingler not getting quite what he was looking for out of that run. We'll see what the score is, though. It was definitely at least spectacular to get things started off under the sun on this Sunday afternoon at the beach. Only a 10. I say only. That's a very strong start, but with a field of trucks behind him, it remains to be seen where he will stand at the end of this wheelie competition. Up next, another Virginian, Brandon Mudd, with the John Ulick horsepower in the back of Buckshot. Nicely done right there for what's left of the big bad Silverado out of Culpeper. A 10, back-to-back 10, so I don't quite know where the judges are standing right now as 2 very different moves wound up both getting 10s. Up next, Buddy Tompkins. He's won wheelie competition here this weekend. Raising Cane out of Florida. Diligence there as he gets wild after the wheelie, bouncing down onto the sand for a score of 15, so by 5 points he will jump into the lead with Raising Cane. Up next, his teammate Jack Brown out of DeLand, Florida, driving the big bad Torque Ram. Problems for Brown, not what he was looking for in any case. The FTI torque machine going to roll off with a 6. Definitely wanted a lot more out of the run than that. Here's a guy who's had a disappointing run in the wheelie competition. Can't get this thing to do what he wants it to do. Let's see what he's got here today. Corey Snyder out of Frederick, Maryland. There he got it to stand up. Nicely done. The Warped Motorsports Ford with the KB Oldsmobile engine in the back, built by Kevin Stauffer out of Waynesboro, Pennsylvania. Score at 12. He will move into second place solidly for the moment, 2 points above third right now. Up next, your points leader coming into today, Jerry Beck out of Lafayette, Indiana, the wild man with the big Freightliner rear ends underneath that have taken everything he's thrown at them. This is the awesome flying dump truck called Dirt Crew. Going for a walk on the ocean front. Jerry Beck doing what he needs to do. A score of 19. He leaves 1 point on the board for this man. Here he comes, Steven Sims, second in points. 3 points away from Jerry Beck. Coming into today, Stone Crusher, the local hero, ready to go. Huge launch, but the rear end comes apart. I don't know if he broke a tie rod, a steering ram, or a knuckle, but you see the wheels bow out. What was the score? Only a 12, so he ties Corey Snyder for third place. Right now, remember though, the place doesn't matter, it's the points, and your champion in the wheelies making that 3-point gap now a 10-point gap by getting 7 points up on Steven Sims is that man right there, Jerry Beck, with that wild walking wheelie in Dirt Crew. So he remains on top going into racing. Can he stay there and take the George Carpenter Cup? We'll find out when we come back.
This Back Channel Productions program is brought to you in part by RPM Army. For a wide array of content from across the motorsports world, visit rpmarmy.com, your high-performance fix on the go. And by Crush This. For a look inside the world of monster trucks, check out Crush This, a monster truck podcast. This Back Channel Productions program is brought to you in part by Monsters Monthly. For up-to-date info, media, and all your other monster truck needs, visit monstersmonthly.com.
Back on the ocean front for Monsters on the Beach 2022, presented by Eastern Truck Accessories and Pungo Off-Road, as we get ready for the first round of side-by-side straight line monster truck racing. Again, the battle of attrition taking its toll in 4 shows now. There you see Steven Sims and Steve Sims under the rear end of Stone Crusher, trying to get it back in the action as they have a damaged knuckle, although they drew a bye run in round number 1, so they may not have to make the line, and they can still use that bye to get to the semifinals. Pairings in round 1, Raising Cane will take on Toxic. The damaged Hole Shot will go up against the Allen Torque, and then Dirt Crew will take on Buckshot. So it's going to be an interesting round 1 because a lot of damage going into this round means we only have a select few trucks that are still in one piece, and those 4 actually found each other in this round 1 bracket, so we're going to lose some of our fastest trucks still in the field very quickly, and one of those is a guy who has struggled here all weekend, not for lack of horsepower or driving skill. Corey Snyder in Toxic has been stuck in the bad lane in round 1 every time out, though he got lucky in show number 3 when some other guys fell to attrition. He was able to use survival. He was able to play that hand to get himself into a final round race with Dirt Crew. Right now, though, he takes on the Sunshine State Ram, Buddy Tompkins, the hard charger out of Geneva, Florida, in Raising Cane, taking on that big 557 cubic inch engine in the back of Toxic. Round 1, pairing 1, ready to go. A lot of hang time out of that far lane, and once again it looks like Toxic is cursed with the bad lane. He had a slight jump off the start, but Buddy Tompkins was able to get the drive in no man's land. Corey Snyder out again in the Toxic 2.0 Ford. Up now, you see Jack Brown out of DeLand, Florida, in what's left of the FTI Torque machine. He's been putting on a show this weekend, but hasn't been able to accumulate the points the way he would like to. Hasn't disappointed, though. He's been spectacular as he takes on a guy who has a very slim chance of getting out of this round. But you got to tip your hat to these guys to get this awesome whole shot quad chaos machine back out. In fact, they were working on it, as you can see, right to the last second to make this first round. No rear drive shaft in that truck, and it's not because the drive shaft got damaged. He broke the rear end. It broke stuff that has not really ever broken on this truck. The rear ends that the DCT Power Sports crew has underneath of their machines are known to hold up to anything you throw at them. Well, they picked one of the most important weekends of the year to fail on them, and it's been a tough one for everybody, but we'll see what Zach Garner is able to do in this matchup with Jack Brown with no rear-wheel drive. Trying to drag one of these trucks through the dirt is tough enough. Now trying to do it on loose sand is going to make it almost impossible, but stranger things have happened. Pairing 2, round 1, ready to go. Neither one of them really getting a good run. I know Jack Brown wanted a little better run out of the FTI Torque Ram as, man, he really slammed the rear end down when he came over that high-flying jump out of the right lane. A lot of altitude over there, and there you see a good shot under the rear end of the whole shot machine. No rear drive shaft, as I said. Now the team owner of the DCT Power Sports crew, Jerry Beck, Dirt Crew, your points leader, 10 points up on Steven Sims, who right now, as I said, may not make this first round, but if he can make it to the semis, he has a shot to gain a few points back on Beck, but that depends on how Jerry Beck does here. He's taking on a powerful Brandon Budd in Buckshot, the Old Dominion Silverado, what's left of it, taking on what's left of the Hoosier State dump truck. This should be a solid matchup. We'll see what Brandon Budd can do in Buckshot against the points leader, Jerry Beck. Problems for Brandon Budd. He had what looked like a good start, and then the truck pulled to the right a little bit. He either let out of it or something went away as he took off. He had some damage under the rear end that they were trying to get repaired last night into this morning, and I have to wonder if there was more going on underneath the rear end of that truck than they even knew. Jerry Beck moving on into the semifinal round, and word is we are going to pull a fast loser out of this round, so we'll see who that is. But you can see it right here. Bud, with not a bad start, wasn't able to keep the horsepower up in no man's land, and it was all Jerry Beck who continues on the road to the George Carpenter Cup from the top of the heap. More action will be coming your way in just a moment. The semis on the way next. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, welcome to Wild Man Adventures. We're at the Silver Lake Sand Dragway. There really wasn't any off-roading back then. It was all off-road. We're on our way to Lima, Ohio. Got wooden wheels.
Oh, it's slippery as all get out.
Hey, we're here with Rich Cummins. Hey, we're here with Mike Potter. Hey, we're here with Alan Pizzo. Gotta check it out. This week we're going to go down memory lane.
Back Channel Productions bringing you all the action of Monsters on the Beach 2022, presented by Pungo Off-Road and Eastern Truck and Accessories. And there you see, we did bring one fast loser back, a major blow dealt to the points battle for Stone Crusher. It's likely he will not be able to overtake Jerry Beck before the end of the day. You see Beck will take on the FTI Torque Ram, and the fast loser Buckshot, who's having some problems, will roll into this first pairing with Buddy Tompkins in Raisin Cane. Question right now, did Brandon Budd figure out what was going on in the rear end of that truck? As you saw in round one, he had problems as he rolls over the humps being created from takeoff. These guys making some big old knolls and some big old ruts on that starting line. Bud in what's been considered the bad lane. He got beaten by Jerry Beck. Bud had the good lane, should have been a shoo-in to win with what's been going on that right-hand side, but clearly had problems as he goes side-by-side with Buddy Tompkins and Raisin Cane out of Florida. The Heartbeat horse-powered Ram side-by-side with that big John Gulick horsepower in the back of Buckshot. The big pulling power on the starting line. Can Brandon Budd pull off the upset? It's all Buddy Tompkins, and the problems continue for Brandon Budd. In fact, he's done even more damage under the rear end of Buckshot. There is fluid pouring down onto the sand right now, and parts hanging down from the back. You see the smoke rolling off the hot headers. He has apparently done some kind of suspension damage under there. Hopefully that's all he's done. The word we're getting is the right upper forelink and tab has broken loose from the housing. That may be the end of Buckshot for this afternoon as we go right into our second pairing of the semifinal round. Your points leader, Jerry Beck in Dirt Crew, who likely has wrapped up the championship mathematically at this point, but he has to get to the end of the show. It matters what the final total is, but with Stone Crusher not making racing, Jerry Beck may have unofficially wrapped it up by making it into the semifinals. He'd like to take a win here and walk out with a clean sweep. He can do it. He's got to get past Jack Brown, though, to try to get into that final round. If he does so, he'll be taking on Jack Brown's teammate, the hard-charging Buddy Tompkins, in the Emily Oil Raisin Cane. Who's it gonna be in its final pairing of the semifinals? Jack Brown giving him a hard charge and finding one of the quad moguls down there as he crossed the finish line, but Jerry Beck and Dirt Crew will head to another championship round here at Monsters on the Beach 2022. That was out of the bad lane too, but he's been able to survive his way through that as Raisin Cane moves on as well. He took out Toxic and then the fast loser Buckshot in the semifinal round. That's who Jerry Beck beat in round one, and then Dirt Crew just knocked out the FTI Torque Ram. So it'll be a pair of Rams in the championship round, Dirt Crew and Raisin Cane. Both of those guys surviving their way through this bracket, impressively so, but again, attrition playing a major factor here in show number 4 as the Patrick Chassis Heartbeat-powered Raisin Cane rolls up to the top of the hill, trying to get a straight shot at that final jump. He is in what's been considered the good lane, and he did not have lane choice going into this round as Jerry Beck, he's liked it over there. All his wins this afternoon have come out of that right lane, but we'll see if lane choice hurts him in this case. Kind of interesting that he's taken on Corey Snyder a few times this weekend. Corey's father, Jay, actually used to own the chassis that Jerry is currently in, although there's not much left of what it was when Jay owned it, pretty much just the main rails. But Jerry Beck has made good with what he's done with that awesome machine out of the state of Indiana, now lining up side by side with another awesome machine, that one out of the state of Florida. Buddy Tompkins looking to knock off the top dog here this weekend. Jerry Beck and Dirt Crew. Can Tompkins pull the upset here in the championship? About a half truck length victory gonna go to Buddy Tompkins in Raisin Cane for the first time this weekend. Not one of the points leaders. Tompkins moving back to the pit area with a victory in the final round, and he picked it up on the last day. Lane choice definitely working in his favor there. He got a better drive off the hill, and then the altitude in the far lane further slowing down Jerry Beck's forward progress, and again about a half truck length victory for Buddy Tompkins in Raisin Cane. In the meantime, here you see some of the damage under Buckshot, severe damage. The rear steering pump and rear steering assembly torn apart on the housing, and I don't know if you could see it there, but the upper right four-link bar has been completely torn off of the top of the housing. And look down there on the end of the boardwalk. They've got the rear end out from under, hooked. Can either of those trucks make it back? It's unlikely, but we'll see when we come back to Virginia Beach. Welcome back to Virginia Beach oceanfront. A tense atmosphere right now as moments ago Chad Tingler had to be taken out of hooked via EMT. I do want to preface this, as you see the concern on the other driver's face, what you're about to see, I do want to preface by saying Chad is okay. He's resting in the Stone Crusher trailer right now, but watch this landing. Chad hit a ton right there. Something did not feel right in his back. He did not immediately make contact with the grounds crew, and he did not immediately make contact with the Stone Crusher camp. And when the track crew got out to him, he was responsive, but not feeling well. They checked him out. They did get him out of the truck again. He is okay, but you see right there on the freeze frame, stopped a little late. He actually bottomed out the rims first, and then the shocks went all the way to the bumps. Flat landing from about 40 feet up, but as hard as he hit, that says a lot for these awesome containment seats these guys now use. It's a composite material with different layers of foam inside of it. Saved his back. Even though he's hurt right now, he's not out of the game. That could have been a career-ending injury years ago. It is not here this afternoon at Monsters on the Beach. Safety number one in the world of monster truck competition. We're about to get back to live action. As you see the score, they're only a 5, unfortunately, for all that scare that Chad put us through, but that's the way it goes. He'll be back another day. There we see Buddy Tompkins now out of Geneva, Florida, in Raising Cane, ready to open things up here in the final freestyle of the weekend. Throwing caution to the wind. Hopefully the transmission problems he has had literally every other freestyle this weekend will not befall him here, but he is not even stopping to point the truck straight at the obstacles. Whatever's in front of him, whatever's beside him, if he can hit it, he's going over it. Awesome job getting a slap wheelie out there on the coastline. As the fans look on, you can see some people trying to peek around the boundary markers out there as security doing their job, keeping those people from wandering over onto an active racetrack. Huge launch off the kicker ramp. There's a little ramp that we can barely see back there, and he just got some huge air off of that thing. Awesome skywheel. Looks like he might have just broken a ring and pinion maybe at the end of that run, but Tompkins throwing down the gauntlet to open up freestyle with some massive hang time, a lot of ground speed, good momentum. They judge these freestyles on 4 criteria: use of course, use of time, momentum, and wow factor. And I'd say he was definitely in the championship ballpark there. Again, that massive hit off the kicker. He was above the bus, a 31. To start freestyle, we've seen wins with that score earlier this weekend. Up next, his teammate Jack Brown of DeLand, Florida, in FTI Torque. This low angle giving you a good idea of just how massive everything is on this track out here as the trucks are literally disappearing behind the obstacles. Jack Brown keeping up the ground speed. May need to go a little bit to get ahead of his teammate Buddy Tompkins. Nice hang time right there off the centerpiece. Again, they have the week off after this to get everything prepped for whatever they're doing next week. And man, that kicker is throwing these guys for a loop. I don't think they expected to get that much hang time off that little ramp, but it's throwing them airborne as Jack Brown runs the FTI Ram hard. Jack Brown going to wrap up a solid run. I don't think it's going to take over the lead, but nothing to be ashamed of. Some nice hang time, good momentum. Didn't quite have the wow factor he was looking for. He's had it a few times this weekend, almost putting that truck on its top. In fact, in the wheelie competition last night, he did roll the truck over as Corey Snyder now rolls out the Warped Motorsports Toxic 2.0 out of Frederick, Maryland. Snyder, kind of a different kind of freestyler from some of these guys, a very technical freestyler. Definitely not afraid to put his foot in it, but you'll see him kind of set up some moves, try to pitch the front end up, ride the rear wheels. He likes to really show off that technical prowess as he goes, but I can tell you right now, he is going to throw caution to the wind before the end of this freestyle. He's got nothing to lose right now. Snyder keeping the momentum up. He's so far hit pretty much everything out on the course, if not everything out of the course, so he's definitely going to score high in that department, laying down a marathon run. What does the big black and green Ford have left? He's headed for the kicker. Sailing across the coastline back there. It was hard to see with that big ramp in the way, but that was some massive hang time. And Snyder will wrap it up on top of the center mound, waving to the crowd. What a run for the big black and green Ford out of Maryland, the old liner, letting it all hang out there at the end. A score of 26. Not going to take over the lead, but impressive. We still have 2 to go. The top 2 stay with us as the Carpenter Cup is on the line next.
Listen up. It doesn't matter if you just watched your first show or you're a longtime fan of the sport and you want to know more about monster trucks. Well, tune into the Throttle Out Show on Monday and Thursday nights, live on our YouTube channel at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. You'll get the inside scoop and all the behind-the-scenes footage in monster trucks and soon to be all other motorsports. Life is better when your foot is to the floor. So remember, when in doubt, throttle out.
Right back at it, Jerry Beck and Dirt Crew comes flying out of the ocean front. One of the final 2 here to go in freestyle. Buddy Tompkins leading the charge in Raising Cane. Let's see what the flying dump truck can do. Look at the massive hang time. Huge sky wheelie, he's in trouble. Driving it out, Jerry Beck and Dirt Crew. Very impressive already. Only a few hits into the run. Maybe looking to take over. He's got a problem. Look at the 4-link bar. Chandler West over there on the radio telling him to shut it down. You can see he has completely folded up the left rear lower 4-link, and I believe he did it on that sky wheelie. Very impressive, but it's not going to be enough. Look at the massive sky wheelie. Watch the rear 4-link fold just a little bit right there. Just kind of bows it. It's hanging down, but it's still connected on both ends at both heims. Over on the nose, throttle down, drives it out for a score of 21 as that last move completely folded that thing up. He's parked over here on the other side. Our final competitor, Steven Sims in Stone Crusher. Nice hang time. He's trying to play the clock. He's trying to be wise out here. He has had some great runs. He's got some freestyle wins on the weekend, but his first run out ended in only 1 or 2 hits. He does not want that to happen here as Steven Sims goes to work in what is left of what started the weekend as a beautiful Ford Super Duty. Wild sky wheelie as he kicks his way over the starting line area. What does Steven Sims have left for this crowd that they haven't seen already? Caution to the wind right now as he's used up everything on this front side. Huge hang time. not able to drive out of it, and the run is going to end early. Likely not going to be enough for him to pick up a victory in the wild Stone Crusher Ford. Look at it again, another sideways landing. That's the same thing that cost him on night one. Actually broke the chassis night number one. He's been driving with a truck that's welded together. Look at that, a score of 28. Not going to be enough to take the win, but very impressive. And Jerry Beck is headed down to talk to Scott Heaton.
You always say, man, just gonna have fun. This weekend you came in, you said, I want the cup again. Congratulations.
You know, we turned it up on Friday night, and that just kind of set the tone for the whole weekend. The guys have been working on trucks. I mean, they went through 3 drive shafts and quads. It's broke stuff, and it's never broke, ever. You know, so I felt like I had to step it up because we've been working on that thing all weekend. And I thank all you fans. You know, this is the first year you can get Dirt Crew toys, so if you want one, hit the merch tent. They got them. Virginia Beach is awesome. The weather's great. What a way to end the weekend. You know, I want to thank my crew guys, my wife. She lets me do it. She supports me. I couldn't ask for any more. The promoters that put up with me for all these years, and you know, everybody. You know, we couldn't do this without all our families and friends. And you know, the Sims boys, they make me run hard to keep up with them because they are maniacs. You know, it's a great family. I love it.
Folks, he is the George Carpenter Cup winner. He is the king of the beach. One more time, let's hear it for Jerry Beck and Dirt Crew.
Beck and the entire DCD Power Sports crew going to likely head home and soak their aching joints and muscles. They have been through war this weekend, wrapping up the weekend at 319 points, taking the George Carpenter Cup out of Virginia Beach, Virginia for 2022 after a very hard-fought 4-show event. It has been unbelievable, and you can see Buckshot, who started in good standings, the attrition rate caught up to him, and that is as much a part of this event as what you're willing to do out there on the track. The hard work, though, paying off here in front of the fans. What a carnage-filled weekend it has been. It's been awesome. We hope to be back here next year. Got a lot more to go here in 2022. Thanks for joining us. We will see you next time.